he has two sides to him. He has you know, he's conflicted, and I always like characters that have sort of an anti-hero, film noir protagonist aspect to him. He's a thinker, so although he has to move fast-paced, he also slows things down. So all of that was exciting for me. In order to catch the guys who have killed these cops, it's necessary to shut down all of the entryways in and out of the city. And so it's not just the bridges, it's the rivers, it's the tunnels, but the bridges is the one we focused on in the title. It was a new thing to do, and I think you learn from everything, every project that you work on. So it was fulfilling just to be able to play a character that is original. It's not somebody that's real, and it's not a comic book character. People can't tell you one way or the other, you know, what it should be. So you get to make some decisions that are original with this type of film.
Chadwick and I have been writing partners for a while, and then in 2016 we produced a movie called Message from the King that's on Netflix. And so we've been kind of comrades in the filmmaking game for a while, and this opportunity came up, and he said, "Can you come on board and help usher this vision to life?" And so here we are. The cool thing about this character is it's something that you haven't seen him do before. It's him kind of stepping outside of playing these kind of iconic heroes and superheroes to be this kind of really kind of regular police detective that's just has a moral compass and is trying to get to the truth and find justice for people. And so I think he's perfect for it because he embodies these heroic characters. I think the audience goes on the journey with him and wants to see justice. Oh, it's amazing. J.K. Simmons, Academy Award-winning J.K. Simmons, and Sienna Miller, and Stephan James, and Taylor Kitsch. I mean, we got blessed with this one because it's such a cool story that has something to say to the world, but it's also a cool genre movie that has the action. People signed up, and Sienna is incredible. Stephan James is a star. He's on the rise, and to see him and Chadwick on the screen together is a real treat for the audience.
I'm such a fan of this genre, and I love working with Lakeshore and STX, and so I was really excited to be making this movie with them. And I feel like it really it is very terrifying, and I feel like it has a lot of elements of a classic movie. So I'm really excited about it. We just finished it about 3 weeks ago. I know. Liza is such a universal character. She's a loving mother who's very protective, and because she was so vulnerable, she was really ready to be scared. So it was a fun role to play, to be sort of in that heightened state of emotion.
A spy who's not very good at spycraft, who's an ex-soldier, ends up on surveillance watching a family, and within pretty much minutes, the young 11-year-old girl living across the way discovers that they're looking at her and her family, and realizes that she needs someone to, basically a playmate, and so she brings him along and starts manipulating him to do whatever the hell she wants. Everyone in the room, when they did their chemistry read, choked up, which I don't know if that's ever happened to me, especially casting a comedy, but their connection was instant, and we kind of knew right away that we had something special with them. Pete's funny as hell, right? And he's done action. and doing sort of the STX model, which is the mid-budget, to have his experience for a movie like this. We got so much out of that. He was able to bring so much production value to the screen, action, obviously the comedy, the actors felt great. He was able to kind of bring comedy out of everybody in all the different scenes, and he, you know, he's been doing this for so long. We were back when we shot the film in Toronto, and we walked onto one of our locations, and he was like, "This is where I shot Tommy Boy," 20 years ago. And I was there 5 years later for A History of Violence. So we were both kind of going through our memory banks of, like, say, early films.
It's amazing, but we never really lost contact.
Yeah.
We've visited and we've called and we've FaceTimed.
Yeah.
We're buds, man.
It feels so great to be around him. He has such a warm energy of fun and love and laughter. He makes me so happy when I'm on set. Like, I'm like, I want to see Dave, Mom. Can we go find Dave? Where's Dave? I just love being around him, and he is such a loving and great guy, and I will love him forever.
And I contribute a lot of money to the swear jar, so she needs a few funds. She'll bring the jar, and we'll have dinner, and she'll go home with an extra $100.
Yeah.
Sophie, I think we kind of have a bit in common. My character, she's a master manipulator. A master. She's not a peculiar child. She's fun. She's very smart and very clever.
Yeah.
But I think deep down what she would really like is, a family. And I think that everyone can really relate to that. Since Sophie's pretty much a master manipulator, she really gets to him. She's got all her threats and all these tricks up her little sleeve, so she finds out, by getting everything through him.
Yeah.
I mean, she reveals him through the movie, I think, really.
She's tech savvy, yes. Very. Well, like most kids nowadays, yeah. Yeah. JJ is he's not good with people. He's good at being a soldier, but he's just not great with people. And I think somewhere along his interactions with Sophie, he just kind of finds his heart.
I really wanted an opportunity to work with Dave Bautista. I mean, I think he is. It's kind of hard to say that he's like a rising star, but he's like this entity out there that people know as a certain character. And now I think they're really going to see him in a very different light, and he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think Dave has built-in equity as this kind of tough CIA operative. I mean, you look at him and his imposing stature, and he fits the bill. And so that felt very real. And to find the complete opposite of him in Chloe Coleman was a dream for me, because child actors, it could go either way. And they either sometimes can come off very acty, or they're very natural and real, and she's the real deal. We actually worked with a casting director who had just finished casting a movie where they looked at 700 girls her age, and so we felt like the shortest distance between 2 points. So we went to her, and she brought in her top 50 of the 700. So we literally scoured the world, and she was the one.
So hard to say, but I just sort of, ever since I heard that this was a thing, and when I looked at pictures of women in their 60s and 70s cheerleading, I just sort of thought, this is something I've never seen on screen before, and I want to tell this story. I want to kind of, I want to see women of this age, doing their thing, and I want to put them front and center, and I want to see them big on a big screen dancing. I just thought that was, a really worthwhile thing to do. And I don't think we get enough stories about women over a certain age, certainly not where they're the main event. I don't really know what to say about Diane. She's extraordinary in every way, and it's like that thing when you're a filmmaker and you say, like, who would be the dream person, and then we actually got her, and she's sort of, it's beyond words what I feel about her. She's been a collaborator from the beginning. She's been sort of so involved in this project from the get-go, and she's been a real creative partner, and this movie is Martha's story, and it's her journey and her character's journey, and she kind of takes the whole thing through, and she's perfect for the film because the tone of the film is sort of, it's unique and it has its own sort of rhythm to it, and it's slightly offbeat, and I think it kind of works with Diane's kind of personality and who she is and what she brings. Alisha Boe plays Chloe in the movie, who's our kind of young lead, as it were, and so she's a sort of high school cheerleader who ends up crossing paths with these women and becoming their coach. And it's a really hard role because, you're sort of a young actor and you're working alongside these screen cinema legends who've been acting for decades. And we needed someone who, it was believable and convincing that there was a real friendship that could form between these women in a retirement community and this high school girl. And as soon as I sort of started talking to Alisha and saw what she could bring, I just thought that could be really electrifying on screen, and it worked out. I think they're great together.
It's a very, very original story. Basically, the main sort of idea that we play with is, can one ever elegantly walk away from the criminal business? Can you get out with your bag of gold and your soul intact? And that's the central question. So, it's a very original story, but it also, like, the sensibility of it is vintage guy. It goes back to his Lock, Stock and his Snatch days, and, really, really great cast. Doing things that I think across the board you're not used to seeing these actors do. I mean, I was just talking about it. I think particularly Hugh Grant is going to just really shock the world with what he does in this film. I sat and bore witness I'm the recipient of these enormous monologues that he gives in the film. We sort of played the narrators of the film, but he came in and over the course of 5 days delivered 35 pages of dialogue and just put on a veritable clinic in acting. It was really a beautiful and humbling thing to behold, so I think people will be very excited to see that. I mean, it was really extraordinary. I got to work with Colin Farrell, obviously, who have sort of, our careers have paralleled. We started at exactly the same time, and I've always been an enormous fan of his work, and I was really, really excited to get to work with him. And then obviously McConaughey is, I just think it's extraordinary what he's done in the last 7 or 8 years of his career. And it's always, I forget exactly the saying, but it's always sometimes dangerous to meet your heroes because they might turn out to be dickheads. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but Matthew turned out to be as nice a guy as he is a great actor. So we had a really nice time working together. So I play the right-hand man of Matthew McConaughey in the film, who is the biggest weed dealer in the UK. And, there's a little bit of, I don't want to give too much away, but I think that the first impression of me is that I'm a very bookish administrator, sort of involved in more of the logistics of the operation, kind of more of a bookish character. And then there's a kind of a turning point in the movie where it is revealed that I have a much darker function within this. Old Raimondo's not afraid to pull out the bone saw when necessary.
From the footage that we sort of showed, it's the first time I think we both sort of had seen a cut like that. It's so kind of distinctly Guy that I was just grinning from ear to ear. It's amazing. It was like completely the opposite end of the spectrum of what I've been filming previous to this, and it was a joy. It was like really a real character role. He's a young, hungry jackal of a gangster who's looking to sort of work his way up the hill, and so whoever's in his way, and it just so happens to be Matthew and his gang. There's definitely going to be sparks that are going to fly. So for me, it was just an immense pleasure and joy to work with an iconic director such as Guy, whom I've sort of watched growing up. So it was great. We had, there's Michelle Dockery, who's Downton Abbey, who's phenomenal in this. Jeremy Strong. We've got obviously Charlie, Matthew, Hugh Grant, like you've never seen him before. And I think people are going to be super kind of just. It's completely unexpected from straight out of left field. He's a hungry man who's trying to clamber his way up to the top, and whatever it takes to get there, that's what he's going to do. I mean, it's a Guy Ritchie film. That's all you got to say, and it lives up to that.
Feels amazing. It's great. The character is basically who I am in real life, to be honest with you, which is someone that loves to have fun, get loose, enjoy, and doesn't care what anybody thinks about me, to be honest with you. So what I love about Ugly Dolls and the movie is that I think it's great for society right now, where everybody's searching for perfection, and when they understand that perfection doesn't exist, that's truly perfect. So just an honor to be a part of the project. What is Ugly Dog all about? Just having fun, enjoying, loving, want to help others, and knowing how to make any situation a great one, where there's no problems, just solutions. I think Ugly Dog, the Moxy, is a motivator, someone that inspires her, and at the same time has a great sense of humor and can make anything funny. What they all love most about it is I think that it's something in society that we're going through right now where it's all about followers and likes instead of leaders and unique. And when the kids watch it, they'll be able to go, wow, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be myself. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to slip. It's okay to fall. That's life. So, and we've actually taken an acronym and made the word ugly, where it's you gotta love yourself. So with that said, that's what I'm excited about. It's perfect timing for what's going on in the world right now.